Hi everyone, it's Karen, and today I want to try to make myself a junk journal out of a composition notebook. Recently I've seen several videos of individuals who have made a junk journal or a glue book out of a composition notebook. And I thought it looked really neat. I thought it'd be something I'd like to try. Looks like it would be a lot of fun to do. So what the individuals would do, and the original video I saw doing this was Tangi Baxter, and I'll put her link down in the description bar below. But she showed one of the first ones that did this and showed all the steps that she used to create a junk journal using a composition notebook. So what she did was a variety of things. She reinforced the spine with ribbons. She incorporated pieces of scrapbook paper on some of the pages, and then she also distressed and colored a bunch of the pages. And what she did was she would take a page and just simply scrunch it up and then kind of smooth it out, and then she would take a marker or distress ink or some other kind of ink pad, and let me go and actually let me just do one of these. So this is my Tim Holtz distress ink, the little minis, and what she would do is just run the ink over the page just to give it some color and some interest, and then do the same thing on both sides of the page. My pink doesn't have as much. Whoops. My pink doesn't seem to have as much oomph as the other pages do. But you basically would go through the entire book and scrunch up the pages, make them a little bit crinkly, give them some detail. I've already got a little tear in the page. Doesn't matter. It's a junk journal. I can either cover it up, whatever. So that was one of the things she would do, is just do up all the pages, and then you can see, even with one page, you can see how that's already giving you some body to it. So once you do that to the majority of the pages, you end up getting a lot more body into the book, and it starts to get a lot more wide and fluffy. I think she called hers Fatty Patty. A couple of the others I've seen, one, I can't remember the other names of the other YouTubers whose books I've seen. One called hers a Chunky Monkey, one called it Mr. Fatty. I'm forgetting the names. But they've got several have different nicknames for their journal. So I thought, what do we do today is go through and make one for myself. And basically what you'll do is just glue memorabilia in here, glue images that you like, whatever you want, just decorate it how you desire. So I think what I'll do first is I'm going to add a few pages in here. So what I did was I took a page out of the composition notebook and measured it to give myself just a little bit of a template. So you want the pages to be just a little bit smaller than the page in the notebook, just so you're not cramming the pages right into the spine, so you give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. So I used that to create a template, and then from there, see if I can lay all the way in the screen. Yep. So what I would then do is think I'll do 2 at a time. So I'm just picking some pieces of scrapbook paper that, just individual 8.5 by 11 pages that I think I picked up on clearance at Hobby Lobby. And again, it's a junk journal. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be precise. I'm willing to bet before I'm done I will have shaved off a bit on my templates so that that will actually be smaller than it is now. Oops, a little bit too long. And then the other thing is to just trim the corner just a smidge, so it would just round off the corner. A couple more pages. Actually, it would probably make more sense if I were to just get a measurement on this. 8 1/4 by 10 3/4. So 8 1/4 wide. By a little bit less than 10 3/4. And then let's round off the corners a smidge. Two more pages I want to use. It's the 8 1/4. That's 10 almost 3/4. I think I had decided I wanted to do 10 of them. So these two. And then the last two. They're roughly similar size. They're roughly similar to the size of my template. Keep my little bits of confetti. And then I'll put these on my little scraps. I'll put these aside and use them for something else. Then we can just randomly stick these pages in wherever we want. I'm just going to use a little cheapo dollar store glue stick. And she'll see how this works. There you go. Now that one's all set to do something with. I didn't cut very well, but I can live with that. I'm not particularly a major perfectionist. Go to the middle. Let's just put one around here. Okay, so we have some are peeking out the top, but this book is going to be a hot mess by the time it's all done, and that's exactly what the goal is. But you can already see how it's starting to puff up a bit. And one of the things that Tanji had mentioned and pointed out in her video was that The entire spine of a composition notebook is just supported by one thread or one line of stitching through the middle. Where was the middle? I can't even find it. But there's just one line of stitching through the middle. So as this continues to expand, there's going to be more and more force being put on the spine. So what Tanji recommended was reinforcing the spine using a bunch of ribbons. So I thought I'd just I had a bunch of red and whites. So what she says to do is you take your ribbon, I probably have way too much on here, but that's perfectly fine. And then all you do is simply, how badly twisted is that? That'll bother me. So simply tie in a ribbon here. You can do it in a pretty little bow. Let's make this somewhat symmetrical. So it's left over from one ribbon. Then I have a solid red, polka dots, red and white striped, and red, or white, that's white, Karen, not red. So what I thought I would do is just 2 more in this side and 2 more in this half. So I thought I'd do 1 white, then red, then the polka dots and the stripes. That sounds good enough. So what I'm going to do is divide this into roughly sort of even parts. And what this does is it distributes the force of the book getting larger and larger. It distributes that across more points by putting in the ribbons. So the ribbons are forcing more points for the book to kind of expand and open up from. So you can see how with 2 ribbons in there, it's expanding up the portion on the spine where the force would be on, all the force wouldn't be going on one point. Now the force is going to be divided over a second point. I'll find roughly a mix on this side. We'll put the white one over here. Because I didn't have 5 red ribbons, I just had 1 white one also. And it also makes for pretty decorations along the spine. But now we can see, well, you can't see that well with the white one. Where is the white one? But you can see how it's going to be separating into a variety of points where what's the word I'm looking for? Where just the force of all the materials being put in the book, and the materials and everything that's being stuffed into the book, it's going to help it to reinforce the spine and keep the book intact a little bit longer. Tenchi does a much better explanation of how and why this is done. I don't think I'm giving it the best explanation. And so now you can see that there's another point where we've kind of made an alternate spine where it's kind of allowing, I cannot think of the way to describe that, but it's giving it more points where it has the ability to expand, and it's not putting all of the force on only one point, but it's spreading it out over multiple points instead. And we'll pop in the last one. So there we have. So now we have some pretty little decorations along the spine. This is kind of loose and wobbly. Probably try to figure out a way to, let's tighten that one up a bit if we can. Yeah, I tightened it up a little bit nicer. And this one seems loose. I might be here all night just trying to tighten these all nicely. Gluing the knot's not bad if I can't get it undone. Alrighty. Actually, I don't like the bow on this one. I'm just going to leave them all hangy dangly. Is that even a word? There we go. And I just have all these ribbons hanging down the bottom or the back. I'll probably decorate this in time, the front and back covers of it. But now what I'm going to do is go through and start, if I can get the thing open now. This is all a major learning experience for me. These guys closer to the center. There goes a motorcycle down the street. So what I'll do now is go through, and you can take a couple pages at a time and crumple them up lay them flat a little bit. You can re-crumple a little bit more. The more you crumple them, the more texture there is for the ink to adhere to. I think this technique is kind of like they recommend, and I've seen quite a few videos that are looking at art journaling and mixed media projects where a lot of people have difficulty in breaking a page or just getting started. A lot of people are intimidated by seeing just a plain white pristine page, and they don't know where and how to start and what to do. So they end up being a little bit paralyzed and they can't really get a start. So I think what this really does is it helps to alleviate some of that problem. And it allows individuals to be able to, okay, well, this page already has color on it. It already has something. So it's not a perfectly clean white page that you don't know where to start to how to do something with it. Some of them I'm just going to do a little bit lighter. But you can see already how the book is just getting thick and just so fantastic. So then you'll come back in and glue various things on the pages, go back through color, put some ink on them. This looks so fantastic. I love the look of that. Let's try this one. Just pink and yellow make, it doesn't make mud, does it? You can double up the colors, whatever you want. You can also go through on the spine or on the edges of the pages, give them some color here. Might be a little bit trickier where I have some of these wonky pages with the scrapbook paper that's a little bit too thick. But I think what I'll do is I'm going to go through and continue to wrinkle up some of the pages, and then I'll come back with another video and I'll show you what it looks like once it's all ready to start decorating. So there we have the beginnings of my journal. I don't have a nickname for it yet. I need to work on that. I need to think of what kind of nickname she's going to have. I think I've already decided it's a she. So I think Maybe it's a, no, I think it's a she. So anyways, I'm going to finish scrunching up some pages, and I'll come back in a bit and show you what it looks like once it's all scrunched up.